The factory V6 engine in our 2025 Gladiator is way underpowered. The real solution for these Jeeps is to install a bigger engine, so we are doing just that today. We're at America's Most Wanted 4x4 global headquarters, and we're going to be installing a 5.7 liter V8 engine into our 2025 Gladiator. This is going to be an amazing video where we take you behind the scenes and show you all the steps to install this engine into our Jeep. Oh guys, we wanted to roll through the Jeep and the entire process here at AMW, and obviously the first step of any AMW engine conversion, the turnkey, is a check-in process. So the whole staff here is basically checking in your vehicle, getting the VIN, getting all the details, noting anything around the exterior of it, checking out what you've got going on with the vehicle. So we pulled our Gladiator in, and of course we already have a 2.5-inch lift and a set of 37-inch tires. We brought our Jeep with the lift kit and wheels and tires, which AMW, you can do that. You can bring it in. But what they want to do is check it out and make sure everything underneath, what's going on, what type of lift kit, is it compatible with what they've got going on, and if they have to make any modifications to it. It's a very important step up here too, because they can also see if your Jeep is like ours with just a few thousand miles, or it's got 200,000 miles, what extra things might need to be going on before they start the conversion. This is a really neat process because they'll actually take it out, take it for a spin, make sure everything's driving and handling well, and then pull it in, get that checklist process, put a sticker on the windshield, and then start the entire process of doing, whether you're doing just an engine conversion or you're doing a turnkey. All right guys, so we're in here into the engine room. We're checking out some of the 5.7s that are sitting here, and part of the reason we wanted to show this is obviously go over why we're choosing a 5.7 liter. Now, there's a ton of engines in here, 392s, Hellcats, Elephants, Demons, really the list goes on and on, but for us the 5.7 had to meet a couple criteria. Our Jeeps get driven a ton. They get driven all over the place. That juice already has almost 8,000 miles on it because it's traveling to shows, to events, off-roading. It's going all over the place. The 5.7 for us, one of the smallest packages too. So when you look at the 5.7 compared to the 392, this sits very small, very tight, gets into that engine bay nicely. The biggest thing though is we're driving it all over the place. We wanted an increase in power, but we didn't want to increase not only the type of gas that we use, but worsen the fuel economy. So I had a 5.7 in my JL back in 2019, ran that thing forever, and was averaging like 20 miles per gallon on the highway, even on 37s and beadlocks. We're looking for something that's gonna increase the mileage, give us that low end torque when we want it, but then also just give us a reliable engine that's been around for a very long time. So we got two 5.7s sitting right here. Obviously a couple bits and pieces are missing as they're getting assembled and ready to go into the crates and either shipped to a customer or be built here outside. But yeah, that's some of the reason we went for the 5.7, and we're excited to test out that real world testing. And this is also one of the most affordable that they offer here. So the 345 setup here, that's the cubic inch, that's the setup that we wanted to go with, and we got a brand new transmission to back it up. So if you guys have a higher mileage Jeep too that's been running for a long time and you want to freshen up everything, it's also a great way to do so. Now, obviously, one of the first steps of this build is to remove the cab of the vehicle. It seems like it's very tricky and very hard. These guys make it look so easy. Trust me, there's a lot more to it. So removing the cab of the Jeep Gladiator is a way for us to basically get at everything that we're going to need to either swap out, work on, weld on new mounts, as you'll see later on in the video, but this gives us access to do all of that. So what you see Ian doing here is we're going around and we're removing all of the body bolts. The body bolts are what connects the tub of the Jeep to the frame. They're connected, there's 6 of them, 3 on each side, and then there's actually 2 up front at the core radiator support. So then afterwards what we're doing is when we remove the cab and separate that from the actual frame, is there's a lot of connectors that tie into both. There's some engine grounding straps. There's a lot of different things that do connect simultaneously to the frame that if you go to pick the tub up, you don't want to snap those lines. There's a lot going on here, and you're just going around and making sure that everything is free before you do that. As we go into the back of the vehicle, emergency brake cable lines are removed. There's actually a little hack where he actually chipped or notched the front end of a 13 mil box wrench to be able to go in there and remove that. A connector in the back, I've never seen these on the Gladiators, but there's 2 actual CAN connectors, the computer network connectors. Oh, that is one of the body connectors, huh? Yeah. See that? There's one here, Ryan, too. Under the shield, he's gonna pop off. There's a body connector up in here. Underneath the tub, right at the rear door. So those both get removed. And then a bunch of connectors up front. So really they make it look quick because they've done this so many times, but you wanna make sure all these are removed before you pick it up, and there's tension on any of those lines. So one thing when you're doing a swap like this, there's going to be a lot of components that you either reuse or you don't reuse, and they have bins for those too. So when you're looking at one like this, you can see the electronic power steering pump, some of the coolant lines, the exhaust, some pieces that will not be reused on the Jeep, but it's nice because they do keep them organized. That way you're not putting parts all over the place. You're wondering, do I need to reuse that? Do I not need to reuse that? So everything has a rhyme and a reason here. And if you actually look, we're not going to show it because some of these have customers. They actually put barcodes and tags on each of these that show the customer, show the VIN, the mileage and that, so they know what is coming off of the vehicles and where they need to go afterwards. So it's really cool to see kind of the details that go into this. I'm very impressed by everything. I mean, I was expecting it just to be like this too, but it's crazy to see when you have one being built of our own, just all the details that go into this. The very careful process of picking the tub up. This is where all kind of that magic is happening. All that work that went on, we are picking the tub up now. And really you're doing this as slow as you can too, because although everything has been disconnected, you might have forgot to bolt, forgot a washer, or everything acts as almost like a fish hook, and can sometimes a wire can wrap around something else and catch it on the way up. So as this thing is being lifted up, you're definitely checking on all of your different areas to make sure that nothing is hung up here. And this is a really cool process. It didn't take him very long to get to this point, but getting this up in the air is crazy to see. To get the tub off and get access to everything underneath that we need to start messing with here coming up is what's ready to go. So getting this tub off was probably not even an hour long to pull this thing off, but it's because these guys know exactly where to remove things. So as it's up in the air, we're ready for the next step, and that's to get this old 3.6 liter out of this engine. One of the most frequently asked questions that we got in the last few videos where we've been at America's Most Wanted headquarters is what happens with my takeoffs if you want to keep them, if you get a credit for them, what gets a credit. The biggest thing is the engine and the transmission. So you can see this entire row here has takeout engines and transmissions. Some are 3.6s, some are 3.8s, 2.0 liter turbos. AMW does have a credit for the engine and transmission. It does depend on how many miles and what condition that engine and transmission is in. Obviously, if it's higher in mileage, there's less credit for it, but it's all built into some of the sales pricing. And if you're curious about, hey, I have a 200,000 mile Jeep Gladiator, or I have a 2,000 mile Jeep Gladiator, reach out through our forum. You'll connect right to their sales staff, and they'll be able to let you know how all that works. A few short hours later, and the engine is removed. All right, guys, so it is the next day. We got the chassis rolled over here. Peyton's gonna be cutting off all the factory brackets and welding on the brand new America's Most Wanted motor mounts for the front. We're kind of excited to see what you do, the process. This is obviously a lot easier, or I would say less work than like a turnkey chassis, but it's still a lot of work that goes into it. So while we're doing it, maybe I'll just ask you kind of what we're doing after we chop off those factory brackets. But I know you've been waiting with all your tools here and you're ready to do it. And Peyton, you do all the bob beds here too, right? So all the bob beds, we're not bobbing the bed today, but maybe next time we come in here. That'll be a little bit more work than this. Don't worry, we can edit it so it looks like super clean. Did it go like full ham pounded off there? I kind of missed it. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's normally what happens, and you cut more and you're like getting ticked off at it. Like, come on, just get off of here. We didn't need any of this. Just cut it all off. This one's gonna fight you, huh?
Yeah, it's hard to get in for that weld on the bottom.
Yeah.
So you don't want to cut
Without getting into the tower, yeah. All right, guys, so once we rip this factory bracket off, or I say once Peyton ripped this factory bracket off, you truly can see the difference in size right here. This is maybe an 1/8" bracket here. Not as many gussets on it. It is about 1/8" thick with those just threaded in holes. And then this is the America's Most Wanted bracket. Tons of gusseting, their logo on there, some key slots over here so it actually matches onto the frame. And then this bottom bracket actually sets the height. So this one will sit on the passenger side, something like that, so that'll match the top height. So initially, maybe when you look into the engine bay, we'll be able to see the AMW logo. That'd be pretty cool if you look down there. But just the sheer quality and how big these are and beefy they are, these are gonna last so much longer than these factory ones are. But I know when we put the engine in, they do use a special type of bushing in the engine mounting block. That way that reduces vibration, and it's like one of the best on the market. All right, guys, so we took a break. Peyton is over there. She's still doing some grinding, some final grinding. We're gonna go back over and check on Ian, see how he's doing, because I see a box here that says 425 white box kit, customer null. We're customer null. Like when, you know, you X out like a computer, it says null and void. But these are all the components that would come with the swap. So Ryan, peek in here, look at all this. New fan here, all your connectors, your hoses, all your piping, the pick report, everything is in here. All these boxes, what they do is when they have these put together, they'll ship them out to a customer. So when you get those big crates and you get the box on top, this is the same way an authorized install shop would get it. And I was talking to one of the guys in the shop here, and they said the reason they do that is so that way they can make sure their shops that install these get the exact same kits that they're in here. So everything just comes out the same way. So these are all the brand new goodies that are going in here. What do you got here? Case half, so that's for the transfer case. All sorts of goodies, brackets. There's the exhaust in there. Taser. Let's go say good morning to Ian. It's day 2. Are we done yet?
No.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're just watching Peyton do some grinding over there, so.
Yeah, I'm just getting back to the body, so.
Okay. I see batteries are missing.
Yep.
Aux battery delete already?
The battery's out of it. I'm just getting the harness out of it now, and then.
Pulling this off already?
Yep.
So you can see we're kind of starting to work over here on the Jeep on some body work. Underneath the hood there, he's already got that just felt piece off. A functional 392 hood scoop has been added on the front. And then the coolest thing is that AMW actually designs their intakes to work with the factory Jeep 392 Hydro Guide. Now what's neat about this is the Hydro Guide was designed from Jeep to mount up to this style hood, the forced air induction, the larger hood like this, and it sucks in nice cold air, goes right into your air box. But then in the back here, Ryan, the Hydro Guide, the whole point of a Hydro Guide, Hydro's water, is to guide the water out of these. So the water will come down through, and this will be opposite way, of course, and it'll come out of the back where you get nice, cold, clean air into your air box. That's the kind of level you expect here at AMW, and it's always just amazes me that they've made their factory intake for these engines go right up to this. So there's 2 versions. The first time I looked at this, I was like, wait, the one we saw last time said AMW. Remember, it said America's Most Wanted, it had their logo on it. Ian just let me know. This one right here is designed for the factory 5.7 and the 392s, and then any of the supercharged engines, it changes up, so they made their own Hydro Guide for those. So that's what the difference is. Our engine isn't supercharged. We're able to use the factory one, but it's still going to seal nicely up to that factory airbox, give us cold, clean air, and that's just the next level, right? So, but also a good perk for buying a dark sky is you guys don't have to put a hood on, the cowl panels, anything. It's already on there, and this already, all the holes and everything are underneath to get this mounted up. So now basically there's not even any evidence left of those factory brackets. Peyton has completely ground down the frame there. Also over here on this section, we didn't really talk about it, but that's where that factory EPS, the electronic power steering box, goes. You don't need that at all anymore. So that's gone. That's all cleaned up. And what she's gonna do now is actually clean it up a little bit more, spray it with a weld-through primer, and then we're gonna line up those brackets. And what we were talking about off camera is those brackets actually key into that slot right there. So there's that elongated kind of oval shape that you would say. It keys into there, and she's done so many of these. It's like a perfect noise coming out of there too. When you listen for a weld, like, you know, you don't hear that crackling, the popping, like that's the sound you're going for. Look at the penetration there. You guys can see it heating up inside the frame rail. Maybe be able to see it a little bit, Ryan. If you come right here, you can see it right through there. See that? Yeah, penetration in there? That's awesome. Yeah, the factory welds, you just, I mean, well, there was that recall a while ago, the track bar welds. I think it was the upper track bar. Was like the early JLs, they were just recalled. The welds were just completely goobered.
It was, I got the story on that because mine's an early 18.
Oh yeah, you have a pumpkin, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it was basically middle of the night, somebody fell asleep at a computer or whatever. The numbers on the frame got all messed up, so they went through and like checked everything.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I knew that, like, I think one of our 18s, it was either the Mojito, one of the two doors we had, it was like, you could look at it, it was all goobered up. All right, well, everything is welded in, Peyton, so you got everything kind of finished up here. That's basically it then, besides paint?
That's basically it. There's only a couple small things left. We have to cove out this mount and then elongate the holes on the cross member back here.
Okay.
But besides that, it's ready to go.
So just a little bit of elongation. I was curious on the cross member. So on this one, this just gets elongated a little bit. On the turnkeys, I think they get their own cross member.
If they're getting the 75, we elongate the holes. If they get the 95, we put a
Then it's a different one.
in it.
Okay, cool. So this is all burned in. This is ready to go. We just got to get it painted up and then drop an engine into it at this point. I would say we're kind of ready for it. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. That's badass. The welds look fantastic. They look, it's like, it's a shame almost to spray them with paint so you don't get to see them as much. But all right, Peyton's going to do a little signature on this. We're going to come back and see what happens afterwards. She's not going to say where it is, but we'll see how good the signature is when we come back. Writes the entire side of the frame in like huge text. All right, we'll see when we come back. Well, guys, today there was an absolute ton that got done. Obviously, we got those frame mounts welded in. We got a lot done underneath the Jeep, but there was a lot that we didn't show you up under here. There's some proprietary things that AMW does to make sure that all of everything works properly inside. Your screen, your dash, there's no check engine lights. Everything is functioning the way that a factory vehicle should. So Ian got all that dialed in. You can kind of see some remnants down there below on the floor of what he did. A lot of accomplishment with the wiring harness and the way that all this gets done. But I'm excited for tomorrow because we get to install computer, brand new AMW computer on here. These also have remote tuning capabilities, so we'll be able to remote tune this if we ever have something that we want to update while we're back at home in Pennsylvania. But really, really cool stuff. We got our box back there. We got a lot ready for tomorrow, and I think we're just about at the point where we can get that 5.7 liter engine up under this Jeep. All right, guys, so we just got in this morning. These guys have been already working on the transfer case. There's a lot of questions that they had. People were like, do I need a Rubicon transfer case? Do I need to buy a Rubicon to do this swap? Ours is a sport transfer case. They do have to make a few modifications to it, including changing the output shaft as well as the back half of the transfer case. That's it, Ian, right? Just the front half of the case and the output shaft then on, okay. And then that's gonna mate up, good to go with, ready to go with the brand new transmission. So they already got this thing all split up, all working. And then another thing they did before we got here was got the Hydro Guide on. Now, we were just talking to Jared last night, and they do have the AMW branded ones. He said they're just waiting on a bigger shipment to come in. As soon as theirs are here, we're gonna swap this one out. but these are absolutely awesome. This is going to suck in that nice cold air, go right into the airbox, and just be a really solid setup here. He's even got it ready to go, rolling with our red line tuning, so they just went right over it. So really nice, we're ready to go, and I think after the transfer case is done, we're about ready to bolt that up to the engine and transmission, drop that into the frame, and get some big stuff going today. Now, you guys probably don't know this, but 6 years ago, Jared was a guy on the phone all the time with me when we bought a kit from a competitor. His was not done yet, and it had all sorts of issues that we had to handle off camera when we were doing that build. Jared was always there fixing problems that he didn't even have to, and we just started that relationship a long time ago. So I knew when Ryan and I started this channel that we wanted to continue that and do it in a way that benefited both of our channels, that were really cool to show you guys all of this badass stuff that's going on and then the people behind it. Jared kept saying every time we came out here, we came out to do the 5.7 video, we came out for the open house, we've been here so many times. Every time he wanted just to leave the juice. He's like, just leave it here. I want to put a 5.7 into it. I want your audience to be able to see how badass this swap really is. And we're like, Jared, we got to film it. We want to film it and show our guys how it's happening. So what we've done is we've got it up here this time. That's why it's getting the 5.7, but it's in exchange for that long-term relationship, as well as the fact that we want to show you guys, and he wants to show you guys, just how cool this swap really is. So I think it's a really cool relationship that we're starting. And not only that, how many of you guys have decided to do the swap? This Jeep behind me, there's a launch edition down there, and there's a Mojave in 41 over there. All three of these guys, plus there's a few others hanging around, came from our channel, and they reached out and they're getting their swaps done. So if these are you guys, if you've got a black 24 Rubicon X, a silver launch edition Rubicon Gladiator over there, or a Mojave 41 with a 345 Hemi, reach out to our email. We want to get you guys hooked up with one of our hats. But how cool of a relationship to see our audience members trusting AMW, having their rigs here. And Ryan, there's nothing better than that, to actually see what we're showing you guys, how much trust we have in these guys, and then to move forward and have these rigs here. So it's awesome. If you guys want to do something like this to your Jeep, send it out here to Michigan or one of their authorized installers. If you send it out here to Michigan, we do have special dirt road cred pricing. So all you have to do is go onto our website. We'll leave the link right down below, fill out your information, and the AMW team will contact you. Now, they already know that you're watching Dirt Road Cred, so we've got really cool pricing and some really cool deals with those guys. But what a tremendous relationship and an awesome partnership that we're starting here. All right, guys, so the moment we've all been waiting for, the engine is sitting here. We got our 345 5.7 liter Hemi sitting on here with a brand new transmission. Now, what Ian was doing earlier was actually getting that transfer case ready, so he's going to get that bolted onto the back here of the transmission, and then a little bit of prep work, and this is going to get dropped into the vehicle. What I love about this engine is just how cleanly everything is done. Now, some cool things that are done with the engine too. This has got either the SRT or the 392 headers on this, but I know for certain it's got the 392 intake manifold up top here. It's actually really funny, the 5.7 out of a truck, the intake comes right like this and comes up at like a 90 degree. So with this one, it's going to shoot it out right over to our driver's side and made up perfectly with that Hydra guide that we got going on under the hood. Custom AMW covers over here. You can see these, they're badass. America's Most Wanted 345 Hemi. Oh, the full accessory drive is all set up as well. So we've got everything going on up front here. And then one of the coolest things is that our power steering pump is now going to be right here on the engine too. So we're gonna be upgrading that steering, getting some more power out of it, and just having overall that low end torque at lower RPM. That's what we're looking for in this Jeep. Cruising down the highway in 8th gear is gonna be easy peasy. We've been driving this thing for 7,000 miles. After the lift kit went on it, every gear is like 4,000 RPMs. It was insane. So we're gonna really see the difference in this coming out soon. So yeah, bolting the transfer case on, and then Ian, we're really pretty close to be picking this up.
Yep. I gotta change the shock bolt on this side because it's too long.
Yeah, because I just noticed that because it comes off. Yeah.
So we have shorter ones with our AMW stamping in it.
Okay. And that was on this side?
Yep.
So shock bolt's gonna get replaced over here. If you guys see that standoff there, the shock bolt comes through so far. So they actually have their AMW, their very own, and they have that. It's a shorter one, same grade, same quality. One thing you also notice, I saw in the bolt bin over there, you guys don't know Jared, but there's no zinc bolts that go on anything here. They're all the same grade OEM, coatings, everything. It has to be like that. So that's the way, if you look around all here, everything's the exact same. So getting that custom bolt in there and not too much more. All right, guys, so this is kind of a two-person setup here. They're getting the forklift in to just pick the engine up and drop it into place. This is all the work that we've been doing up to this point to get everything prepped. A lot of prep work. They say the prep work takes the longest, and that's really true when it comes to making something perfect. So they're going to communicate back and forth to make sure they do this seamlessly, drop it into place. That's why you just put that transmission mount too, so you can get that dropped right into the cross member. That front engine mount is going to go right into those new brackets that Peyton welded on yesterday. And this is just, I don't know, maybe just watch it. This is pretty cool. It's a lot of precision when it comes to doing this. Although the cab's off, you still have a lot to watch. Little things like that, like a wiring harness, pulling it off, making sure it doesn't pinch anything. It's in. Now the easy part begins. Everybody would think it would be opposite, but all that work was for this. Yeah, that's crazy. You can see why everything was clearance. Check this out, Ryan. Top of this control arm mount was clearanced. Look at where the exhaust header is right there. So like all the little things that they're doing, all this was notched out here. Shock bolt makes sense now. Look at how much closer that would be to your wiring harness. Shock bolt would have been definitely touching that intake, the manifold there. That's cool. Tolerances are everything though. Look at that. Tolerances, just like, it's not an easy feat. Look at, everything is designed and engineered so it fits. That comes down to the motor mount that Peyton welded on, all the design brackets. Like, it's not just, oh, slap an engine in there. This is cool. Still get to the oil filter right there. So now the easy part. That's wild. Back plate goes back on, plug goes back in. Yep. Alternator wires are getting hooked up right now. It's kind of curious to see like what wires can be reused and what gets swapped with their brand new components, but so right now it's just kind of loose routing of everything and getting it where it needs to sit. So one of the things that we absolutely think should have came standard on these Gladiators was to have the lowercase font be removed off the badge on the back. So we're adding on the Gladiator text that's exclusive here at AMW, and basically Ethan's pulling this off right now. He's getting everything removed on this, and then this template is to actually put this complete badging onto the back. We see it on all the turnkey builds and a lot of the builds here, so it was almost a must for us. We're going to get this on the back and then some other badging and branding throughout the sides just to showcase the AMW side of this. But the one thing you might not realize is these are actual metal, each of these badges. These things are absolutely incredible too. So it's kind of like a, I would say like, I don't know, like a gunpowder color here. I think it's going to tie in really well with the juice here and just look really clean. So first step is to get that off and then use that 3M rubber eraser, which I'm always scared to use, to burn through the paint and get them going. Maybe a ½ pound each, like for the bigger ones.
Yeah.
They're solid pieces. I mean, I was impressed. They're solid. Very, very solid. Well, I shouldn't have been surprised, you know. Of course, everything's solid. It's made right. But it's going to be cool to set that up in and use the template, too. I think that's a really neat touch because I definitely would have spelled Gladiator wrong or, like, had them crooked or something. You can see that Jeep right over there. That red one's got it on. It looks cool. First letter, moment of truth. You said the jig was lined up perfect, though. You measured it. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it without the jig, I don't think. I think it, like, completely changes the look of the back end. So these are the badges we were replacing at the trail rated location. Check these out. I don't want to drop them because these things are absolutely sick. Look at that. Same kind of finish as that back Gladiator. It's almost like a Cerakoted finish, but look at the detail in there. AMW just hollowed out into the back. These are going to replace the trail rated badges, and that's how you know it's an AMW build. But yeah, Detroit Performance, factory quality. That's going to look sick on here. So we've kind of been letting Ian do his thing here, just definitely knocking out all the finer details. Now, since we kind of checked this out last, he has swapped the fuel pump out of the gas tank. We've got different lines run. We've got our transmission cooler lines. We've got our shifter linkage back on. We've got all sorts of our fuel lines run. A lot of the smaller connectors have been made, different connections for the AC line. Basically all the small details that you're not going to be able to get access to once the tub's on. Another thing that he was able to do was get the exhaust partially on. So what we've got here is a catalytic converter into a 3-inch crossover pipe. Same thing on the other side, and then collects into a 3.5-inch pipe over on the driver's side. That's going to run out as a single exit exhaust. We're going to get some more of it on here, but this is all stainless, and it's made by Stainless Works. So a super nice kit, really, really good looking stuff. We got to do one more check. So he's going to have Mac come over and check it all out. They always do a double check before they put it on, and then we're going to drop the tub back on. Just got to touch up a couple things underneath here before we drop it down.
I mean, we're ready right now.
Is that right?
Yep.
And then burnouts right afterwards?
A little bit more time.
Little bit. And then burnouts.
Yeah, then sweet burnouts.
Yeah. All right, I'll get out from under it while you lower it down. What are you mainly watching for here besides everything? Just kind of keeping an eye on everything? Yeah.
Everything, make sure the body's coming down square with the frame.
So I'd imagine you stop like before it touches and then connect some things. And
Yep.
That's one thing we were talking about off camera. Clayton, we actually got a text from Adam, because the spring setup for the front here is just for a standard 3.6. Obviously the 5.7 some more weight. It looks like it drops it down about a ½ inch. So we're talking to Adam, and we're thinking we're probably going to just do the diesel springs because the diesel is equipped for more weight from Clayton Off-Road. But for now, we'll probably just put a ½ inch spacer on the front because they keep them in stock just to get that up a ½ inch. But it only squatted a ½ inch so far, so not much. So the final day, guys, Ian has been here early working on this thing. We've been kind of trying to help out where we can, but he has been absolutely a champion getting this stuff done. A lot of inner stuff has been kind of dialed in underneath the engine bay. So once you get the engine drop, the tubs on here, there's all the fine details that you have to do. So what he did this morning already was get all of the different connectors attached. He replaced the bus bar, got the battery all hooked up. The computer now sits back here. Both of those plugs are into that on its own bracket. Really cool S&B filter designed with AMW. This will get a lid or a box cover on that mates with the hydro guide. So we got that all on there with the filter connected. Mass airflow sensor up front here. The valve covers are on there with the AMW 345 Hemi. Windshield washer fluid tank with the actual pump is attached. We've got to do a little bit more here before the coolant stack goes on, and that's basically that front clip that goes back onto the vehicle. This line here will actually get cut. Power steering cooler, transmission cooler, upper and lower radiator hoses on here. Headlights have to go back in, but we are very, very close. I mean, I think, Ian, do you think within the next couple hours or something, we'll be starting this thing?
Yeah, a couple hours.
All right, a couple days later, the grill is back on. Gonna put just a clear cover there on the airbox lid, but this thing is pretty much dressed up right now.
Yeah.
All the fluids now.
All the fluids and hit the key.
Power steering fluid, coolant, washer fluid. We can't forget that. It won't start without it. We're ready to go. We're ready to pour in some fluids and get this thing fired up. They gave me the most important job, windshield washer fluid. And then Ian said we didn't give it to him, he just took the washer fluid. I don't know, I'll take a little bit of splash like that. All right guys, moment of truth. Ian, it's time to fire this thing up for the first time. Let's do it. There we go. That sounds a little bit better.
It's got to sign the Jeep.
Oh yeah, you got to sign the Jeep before it moves. Okay. So you got to do it on camera.
It's not gonna move yet.
All right, well you want to sign it now?
I can sign it.
Climb up on there and put your mark on it. And if you spell your name wrong, the internet will harass you forever.
Luckily, I won't do that.
Okay, we'll see. Beautiful.
Nice job.
Appreciate you, brother, for everything.
Yeah, no problem.
Did an awesome job.
It's been a tough few days, but, you know.
We got it done. We got it done. Ready to rip it. It's been the worst few days of my entire career.
No. Honestly,
It's been a rough few days. Yeah, yeah. Well guys, that is going to be a wrap on this video. This was an absolute awesome time here at America's Most Wanted 4x4 headquarters to get this 5.7 liter swapped into our 2025 Jeep Gladiator. Now this is probably the longest video we've ever produced, but obviously we had an amazing time here seeing everything that goes into making one of these Jeeps a reality. We got ours done in about a week's time frame, and that was with the help of Ian, of Peyton, and the entire crew here at AMW. Now we got it done a little bit quicker. You can expect several weeks if you want to bring your Jeep out here to get a swap done. We brought it in with the lift and wheels and tires, which saved a little bit of time, but just look at it behind me with that 5.7 that you can't see under the hood, but you can for dang sure hear that thing when we fire it up. Now we had an awesome time out here, and if you are looking to do something like this to your rig, this is absolutely the place to take it. The craftsmanship, the attention to detail, the facility that you're going to be surrounded with, and the people make everything that we just did 100% worth it. And just for following our channel and Dirt Road Cred, you can submit on our website and you can get special pricing just by doing so. But that's going to be a wrap on this one. We've got an 8.5-hour drive home, but before we go, why don't we hop in and give it one last fire up and maybe take it for a rip. All right, we got to hear it. You can't do one of these swaps and then not fire it up. We're not going to take it for a full test drive just yet. This has been a long enough video. This thing is about to be in a ton of future content. Stay tuned for part 2, the 5.7 liter driving review.
Till next time.
You can't rhyme better than that. That was, did you hear that? Yeah, Until next time, my name's Matt, Ryan's behind the camera, and we want you to get out there and earn yours.